Your car has fleas. I'm so disappointed. What do you mean? I don't even own pets. Fleas. They are jumping on us. Do you have a picture? That's an ant. My Turo car is currently out on a week-long rental, so I thought we could check out what other hosts have been experiencing lately. How does someone not know what an ant is? Are they that stupid? Yes. The general public's way stupider than you think. Fleas! I never know what to think about that. I hear that a lot where it's like 50% of people are dumber than average or whatever. I don't think that's true. I'm seriously about to self-repo. I'm barely cutting it and do my very best, and then these people come along. I mean, the question we all have is, can you actually make money on Turo? I have no idea. That's why I'm doing it, because I don't understand how anyone's making money on it. People ask me, why are you doing it? Are you making money? No, not really. Why are you still doing it? Because I want to understand. I mean, this subreddit alone has 50,000 people. Are they all losing money? I have no idea. Epic Turo fail. Oh, just looked at Bouncy. It's a GPS system. That screwball definitely did park in short. Parked on top of the door, lazy ass mother. What a retard. Still here, guys. Top-notch customer service. Each rental has a text channel that all the hosts can text in. So for some reason, this host, who by the way, this is a self-report, the host posted this of him and his co-host gossiping over his guest in the group chat with his guest. Also, this would just put your account at risk if you call your guest a retard. Why would you even talk in the messages? It seems like a no-brainer to actually text. He didn't pay attention and sent it in Turo by accident. Just funny, can't wait to see the review on that one. Shame on you for treating any person like this. Okay, everyone on Reddit's getting really upset. Imagine if this happened on Airbnb or something, like you leave the Airbnb, the couple is like, oh, thanks for renting us, you were so nice. And then you check your phone and they're like, wow, that guy stunk. And they're like, right? I changed my guest's tire after they damaged it. I liked this post because it reminded me of something I would do, which basically he drove an hour away to replace a tire for his guest, but he was then worried that, wait, how am I gonna get money back from this if I fixed it? Because ideally your guest is going to be responsible for anything like this, especially considering the way she tore it is by driving into this piece of metal. So honestly, it is kind of potentially in the host's best interest to not do fixes like this, because it might be a little bit harder to get payment from her if it wasn't officially through a Turo avenue, like using Turo roadside assistance. What I liked about this was the driver doesn't understand that she drove into a piece of metal. As the host said, quote, she thinks someone slashed her tire with a knife, lol. She wrote, how could someone do such a thing? I mean, if she was driving a Tesla, I guess it would be reasonable to assume it was vandalized by a liberal, I don't know, or by an Antifa. Does Antifa still exist? What's Antifa been up to recently? Huh, no Antifa articles in a couple months. They really fell off, I guess. And in standard Reddit fashion, they're arguing about the tire he decided to put on the vehicle. I misfueled the vehicle and am now asked to pay $52,000. This person accidentally put diesel in a regular Toyota Tacoma. This person definitely daily drives a Tesla. Initially, they were just charged $6,000 in repairs, but they ended up totaling the vehicle because it was given the wrong gas. I don't know anything about this. I, believe it or not, have not put the incorrect gas in a vehicle. A lot of people asked how this even happened. I drove 6 to 7 hours that day and stopped to get gas. I explicitly checked the fuel and was very convinced I read regular and picked up the nozzle. It didn't fit, but I held it in place. I was so convinced I picked the nozzle up for regular gas that I assumed the truck was just built different. Diesel sticky things, we're gonna do a little visual explanation here. It sticks in, but it's thicker, so it doesn't really fit in regular gas vehicles. So he just held it outside of it and poured it anyway. Anyway, what's done is done. The comments seem to agree that putting the wrong fuel should not total a vehicle. Yes, it would be a few $1,000s to fix, but they actually, since I first read this, they added an update. I tracked the VIN number, the vehicle identification number, and the truck was auctioned by, and the truck was auctioned to, and the truck was auctioned July 20th. The car was deemed a total off because it would be deemed unsafe to drive for future users. Furthermore, the car's salvage value was $31,000 and I was charged $52,000. I've contacted a lawyer. Luckily, this person's legal battle is just over financials, and you know what I'm gonna say. And in the case you're seriously hurt, your injuries could potentially be worth millions without the time-consuming appointments, paperwork, upfront costs, and reliving the traumatic event over and over. Insurance companies often lowball clients' claims, but if you become Morgan's client, they will fight to get you the money you deserve. They've achieved significant verdicts in the past couple months for victims involved in a huge plethora of injuries, including life-altering car crashes. Like $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer. $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times the highest insurance offer. One client was hit by an uninsured motorist and sued his own insurance after they offered him just $50,000, which didn't even cover his medical expenses. So Morgan & Morgan secured him over $5 million. Morgan & Morgan's fee is absolutely free unless you win your case. So if you've been seriously injured, your case could potentially be worth millions. You're just a few clicks away from potentially changing your life. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/goherping, linked in the description, or by using your phone to scan the QR code on screen. Thank you to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring. Back to the video. I would be scared to rent on Turo, honestly. Like, people are like, how could you possibly put your $50,000 Tesla on Turo that you still owe all the money on? Like, I'm not stressed out doing what I'm doing, but the idea of renting a vehicle kind of stresses me out. Because, okay, on my last video, there was like a little scratch on the rim and I did not charge the guest for it. And there were some comments that said like, if this were Hertz or Enterprise, they would have sent it through the AI scanner, charged me $400. But the thing is, at least they have a very straightforward process. And the employees don't care about the vehicles. Just right off the bat, if I ever do rent a vehicle, yes, I'm going to do Turo and not do Enterprise or whatever, because I do think Turo is cool. But my fear is that each individual host is going to fight each individual guest. There's not just like a process across the board. And as you even see with me, I get more emotional over my rental vehicle than some random employee at Enterprise is going to care. They just want their paycheck and go home. But I have to continue paying for this really expensive car. I don't know. Turo's so interesting, but that's why I'm so into it right now. My unfair experience with Turo, unexpected charges after my car was towed. So this person parked at a Costco and left it there, but they weren't at Costco. They parked it and they like walked around town or something, I guess, and they were invoiced $1,300. What I like is how many random little like fees Turo adds onto things. Additional usage, late fee, improper return fee, tickets, refueling convenience fee. Like, why are these two different things? So when somebody rents my Tesla and they don't recharge it before returning, I can get reimbursed by the guest for that. And then there's this breakdown of how much they have to pay, but they also just add two random charges on top, which is a convenience fee and a refuel fee, which is an extra $15 and an extra $10. I'm not complaining because I actually get 100% of this. Turo doesn't take any cut from this fee. It's just free money for me, for the inconvenience, I guess. But I understand. The guests get pissed off when they see those, and I'm like, that's it, actually. I don't even respond. I don't even reply when they complain. Okay, I like posts like this. It's just a breakdown of, like, I like to make posts like this as well. It's 2 different months that his 2020 Chevy Trax made some money. So his car payment, $275, insurance through Tint, $60. And I was like, what's Tint? It turns out Tint is an insurance by Turo, which only covers while it's not being rented. So I was like, that's kind of cool. So I actually signed up for Tint. I put my Turo info in. I got declined because I only have 1 vehicle. You need 3 vehicles minimum for Tint. But basically, a lot of people have been asking this, like, do you also have to insure the vehicle personally? And yes, I need personal insurance on my car. So that one's $183 a month on the Tesla right now. And then it's also commercially covered through Turo. But it turns out Turo can actually do the personal insurance too. So that's kind of cool. But anyway, maintenance $150. He also has a bouncy, which it turns out Turo requires you to have a tracker, a GPS, if you go through their insurance, which is kind of interesting. That kind of shows how important trackers are, because you literally can't insure the vehicle without a tracker. So this car cost him $500 a month, and his best month net him almost $1,000 in revenue. However, his worst month, he made just $17 because it made $500 in revenue. It still rented out the entire month, and that's because he had 1 guest rent it for 3 months. It seems you can rent a vehicle kind of just forever. A lot of guests do extreme discounts if you rent for a month to 3 months plus. And it turns out some people just don't want to own a car, but they also don't want to lease a car. So instead, they just rent cars on Turo forever. Okay, these people are like, this person rented a Chevy Trax for 3 months. Pretty boring average car. But hey, they didn't have to run their credit. They didn't have to take out a loan. They didn't have to buy a cheap beater. What I've seen online is people like it because you don't have to take care of the vehicle. If you rent a car on Turo, you can just make the host do it all. And you kind of have like a personal butler who takes care of your vehicle. And then you just, I don't know. I think it would be cool. Like if I was filthy rich, I would just rent interesting cars for like 2 weeks at a time. Like, oh, I'm going to do an R8 the next 2 weeks. And then, all right, I'm going to switch to a Porsche, just whatever. Honestly, now that I think of it, it's like renting an apartment, sort of. Like, because what is this person doing? They're covering the owner's car payment each month. So, okay, they don't get any of that equity in the vehicle, but maybe like you don't get equity when you rent an apartment, but there's a lot of conveniences that come with renting over owning. So I could see this becoming more common. One, because you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Except for me, I guess I'll own the Turo car. Well, actually the bank owns it right now, but, and two, a lot of people are becoming like anti-car, but still need cars. So and also they have like bad credit scores. So I could see people avoiding these 10 to 20+% APRs and doing something like this. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I think Turo has a future. Oh, actually, speaking of the next post, Turo, yeah, they emailed all the hosts asking us to contact the country, to contact legislators on a federal level because some regulations might affect Turo, which, yeah, will help them when they stop the review nonsense, give us back descriptions, and ban smokers. Hard to ask for help when they've been the hosts over. Such BS they pull when they constantly f us over with no lube and they want us to keep their platform alive. I immediately deleted that shit. Tried to reply to their email, but it just goes to some no reply address. Why bother asking us to waste our time for something useless when you can't even be bothered to hear our feedback on this email? Yeah, don't help a company that doesn't want to help its hosts. Everyone's so mad. Do not use Turo. This app seems to be up there with Whatnot, 90% horror stories. This is just straight up not true. It's simply a vocal minority. Like, people rent Turo cars every hour of every day, and the far majority go completely fine. It's just that you hear about the bad stories, of course. It's so interesting because now, like, people around town ask me about Teslas and stuff. They're like, oh, how do you like it, whatever. And so the new thing I've been saying is, I like them so much, I got another one, and I put it on, have you heard of Turo before? And so to my surprise, almost everyone I've said, have you heard of Turo, says yes. And then half of them go, yes, and I use Turo myself. And I'm like, what, really? And they're like, yeah, at any time I fly, I use Turo. It's so convenient. I love it. I just go to the airport. There's a key in the car already. I just put a code in and it's mine. I'm like, oh. And they're like, yeah, I don't have to wait in line at the enterprise thing. Like, they literally sound like they're reading a Turo advertisement. $90 for this damage does not seem right. This is a host who had their rear bumper ripped off, and they submitted a claim to Turo, and they said because the damage estimate is only $90, which is less than your deductible of $250, we cannot provide payment for this claim. His bumper is destroyed. It's about $2,000 to get this bumper replaced. Now, what they possibly did is they just looked at this one picture, which would be weird. I don't know why they would only look at one picture. And they're like, oh, that's a little scratch, $90, take it. Or actually, don't take it because it's lower than your deductible. You don't get nothing. But yeah, the way it goes is like body shops will try to charge way too much. Turo will try to pay too little. And then you got to get them to meet in the middle somehow. So once he actually went to a body shop and got it fixed, he'll probably get a decent amount. Or not, I don't know. I'm still very new at Turo. Thinking about starting Turo, but a complete beginner. Any helpful info? Don't. This is every time. Every time someone asks, should I do Turo? The Turo host's response is always just don't. And I think that's because of one of a few reasons. One, they don't want competition. Two, that person had a bad experience, so they quit and genuinely don't want other people to do it. Three, they're just some negative freaking Nancy's. And they probably don't even know what Turo is. They're just scrolling through Reddit, discouraging people. Because that's all people do anymore, is discourage each other. SMH. Charged for a smoking fee, and I do not smoke. I thought this was interesting because we got to see what it looks like when a host reports a guest for something. So it said, hey, I'm getting in touch because your host raised an issue with us that I need to address with you. Given that, and in accordance with our policy, we've charged you a $150 smoking violation plus 3% processing fee and $12 rental sales tax. I would be so pissed off if I rented a vehicle, didn't smoke in it, and it's not even the $150 that would irritate me. It's the processing fee. They charge you a processing fee and a $12 rental sales tax. And Turo doesn't really want to be involved in damage claims at all. Like, their hope is that the guests and hosts just like ninja battle it out behind the scenes. Did you beat Hertz and Avis stock? Over the past year, would you have made more money if you had only bought Hertz stocks? I thought this was a very funny question. So in the past 12 months, Avis, I don't even know what that is, went up 90%, and Hertz went up 55%. So he's basically saying, like, should you have just taken the money you invested in your car and put it in the stock market? Should I have? I kind of wonder this with everyone, not everyone, but so many people say to get into real estate. That I feel like people are saying that less nowadays, but it's like the same way the American dream involved buying a house, the American entrepreneurial dream involved buying real estate, becoming a landlord, renting stuff out, be it vacation or family homes, like single family, whatever. I feel like that's kind of fizzling out. And as someone that has now owned a home for 4 years, I have almost zero desire to own real estate. With that said, I know my next goal is to buy a beach house. That's different. That's like, I'm not buying a beach house to generate money. I'm buying a beach house because it's like my ultimate dream purchase. Oh, and also now that I've been a landlord, I don't understand, like, because a lot of landlords, they're kind of only covering their expenses. Now that's okay because you're earning equity on the home and then eventually you could sell the home, but it's not like like a stock doesn't flood or catch on fire or have its siding fall off or grow mold. Like, if you have money to make money, I never understand how real estate is one of the ways that people choose to do. Obviously, though, there's people that are filthy rich on real estate and tons of people do real estate. So obviously, yes, it's worth it if you do it right. But I think that's the same question with Turo is like, why would you do Turo, which is kind of the real estate of cars, instead of just buying stocks and things that generate value? I don't know. Again, that's what we're trying to find out with the series. But anyway, these people are yapping about a scratch. Hi, I apologize for the late text, but I got home. When I did the post inspection, I had noticed a 2 to 3 inch scuff on the rim. I will need to open a damage claim, but just wanted to give you a heads up so you're not blindsided by this. First of all, that is so much more respectful than what I do. I just open a damage claim and they get hit by whatever it is. I apologize. Oh, I like how they both apologized, but I don't see any evidence of damage in the photos. I looked very carefully at your documentation. I mean, it's sorry. All right. Well, this is a very sour experience for my first time using Turo. Wheels are used during the normal driving of a car. Tires and rims are used during the normal operation of a car. This is not body damage to the car. Ugh. Please send me the repair quotes. I really don't appreciate this. I'm here in the Bay finishing work so I can save money and go leave to go study. I should have paid closer attention to the warnings about using Turo online. I guess they Googled Turo after and they probably found this subreddit. I bought the insurance policy like I always do with rentals and roadside assistance so I would be protected, but there's a $500 deductible. This seriously feels predatory. My dad owned an auto holy shit, shut the fuck up. I have had some guests complain recently that I'll share in future videos. I do not give them any time of day if I don't need to. I do the absolute bare minimum. Most of the time, I just don't respond when they're bitching. It's not necessary. Like, this person's either going to pay and keep complaining or not pay and you'll have to deal with it yourself. This will cut into my savings for grad school. I'm really disappointed that you were nickel and diming a rim scratch. Please send me the estimate from the dealer you work with and the receipt. This person reminds me of my ex-tenant. Doesn't it? If you have Venmo, I will pay you that way since I have some credit there from selling my furniture. They always do the thing where they add completely unnecessary details to make them seem more human and like you should care about them more. But yeah, the comments recommended to not pay through Venmo. But hey, I would take the Venmo money. I like money. I don't care if it's through Venmo or not. I'll take it any platform. I'll take it in cash. You can shove it up your ass and you can make me dig it out. Unfortunately, there's people that act this way. Yeah, these people need to be detained and executed. Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, maybe I should start charging guests for more dumb stuff. I don't know. What I was trying to avoid. 3 stars. I really wish I would have known that the vehicle was not available for pickup and drop off at the airport because I requested that. I don't blame the owner of the vehicle, but I still gave them a shitty review. That's not what they said, but it was still a disappointing experience. So this person knew it wasn't the owner's fault, that basically, for some reason, this guy's car kept showing up in the airport pickup filter on Turo, even though it wasn't, and Turo support said that it was not a problem, but he got a bad review, and bad reviews on Turo destroy you. I would say more than any other gig app. If you want to, it's not really a gig app, but if you want to call it a gig app, a bad review on I almost said Discord, DoorDash, or Amazon Flex, or Uber, they all hurt. Especially Uber hurts probably the second most, maybe DoorDash, I'm not sure actually. Instacart, all those. But the thing is, you can wash out a bad review pretty quickly, because if you're doing Uber, you might do 5 to 20 trips per day. And so that means that that bad review gets pushed down quickly. But Turo, you're only doing a trip every couple days, every couple weeks. And so if you get a bad review, it seriously hurts your account, and it takes a long time to make it irrelevant by increasing your average. What I do like about Turo is, as it says here, leave public response. You're allowed to respond to every review, positive or negative, which I think is cool. So then future potential guests can see why you got a negative review and what your response is to it. So frick you, Turo. So this is the same trip on 2 different devices. One trip comes to $553 and the other comes to $645. I guess it's kind of like airport tickets. I guess Turo does the same thing. The part I like is both listings say save $14. It's just like arbitrary coupons. Host drove away before we could take return pictures. Similar issue. They rented a car. The host just left before they could actually take any post images. I mean, I thought about this. I just did a drop off at the airport, but to save the guest money, I said, hey, I can just meet you at your terminal if you want, and I can just give you the key. And he said, okay. And so we did, but he just got in and left. And I was like, oh, he didn't check in. He just drove away. Accidental 1-star review. The car was in great shape and the host was very responsive. 1 star. And finally, a positive post for hosts. A nice little update to the rating system. People who do not rate your vehicle in a category officially automatically defaults to a 5-star, which is actually pretty powerful, pretty helpful. Because up until this point, this is the reason I lost my all-star host status, is people that don't rate count as bad reviews. Finally, we're not penalized for guests not leaving a review, which is crazy that was ever a thing. But hey, it's been improved. So that's what's been going on in the Turo space. So if you enjoyed, I'd love to do more as like filler videos, but that'll be it. I'm Alex, and thanks for watching.